Hi, welcome back to UncoverFraud.com. My name is David Melamed, and I'm a forensic accountant and fraud investigation expert with just over 20 years of experience. Today, I want to talk to you about one of the most interesting files that I got to work on, and that was a murder trial. What had happened was a very rich guy, probably worth $500 million, inherited from his father, used to support the World Wildlife Federation. He had a good heart and a good soul. And one day he was on an airplane and the airplane crashed. Lots of people died. He was one of the survivors. And with hours, Glen Davis, this individual, got back on another airplane and took his trip as if nothing happened. Now, a few years later, Glen, well, maybe I should give you a bit of the backstory first. But really, the ending is unbelievable, so you're going to want to stay tuned. Glen had a godson, and his godson came to Glen and said, Glen, look, I have a plan for a business, and my plan is that I'd like to buy houses, renovate the houses, and sell them for a profit. Glen obviously wanted to help his godson and said, look, I will lend you a few $1,000,000 at a given interest rate, and we'll go through this business together, and I'll help you along the way. Now, Glen's godson did buy a few houses and did do some renovations, but wasn't actually able to pay back Glen. And he decided that the best idea was to get his godfather killed. And he would then inherit money, obviously through his godfather's will. So, a few years after the plane accident, Glen finds himself at a parking lot with a guy and a baseball bat who beats Glen up, almost kills Glen, but leaves him, and Glen slowly heals. What Glen didn't know was his godson had actually hired this individual, and this individual was there to kill Glen. And what Glen didn't know, as well as the godson, was the godson had given the individual $5,000 advance in cash to go and buy a weapon, to go and buy a gun. But the individual felt, look, this is an old man that I'm going to be attacking. I don't need a gun. I can use a baseball bat and save myself thousands of dollars. So that's exactly what happened. Why Glen was beat up by a baseball bat, but it was just Glen's luck again that he survived. A few years later, Glen is in the underground of a parking lot, and this time is approached by an individual with a gun who shoots and kills Glen. When I get involved in the case, the police come to me and they say that they want help establishing the relationship between Glen and the shooter. And the relationship that was there between Glen and the shooter and the godson was that the godson, one of the people who he hired to help renovate the house or the homes, he had gone to that individual and said, I need you to help me find somebody to kill my godfather. And, it's kind of out of a movie. I think they're actually going to make a movie about this. And I was able to show how cash goes from the godson to the builder to the shooter. And then, when all of this occurred, I did my investigation and I actually got to testify in court. I got to testify in court when this is a first experience for me in front of a jury regarding a murder trial. In a courtroom with me, and I don't think this has ever happened before to me, where I knowingly was in a room with individuals who were murderers. I got to watch the case unfold as an expert. I got to testify and explain to the judge and to the jury what it is that I found and what it is that I saw. An unbelievable case made for a movie. Unfortunately, Glen found himself dead. A great individual who supported good charities and good people. And the interesting thing about this case is 1 month before the trial, the godson pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. The other two individuals went through the court case twice, where one individual was convicted, the other was given a mistrial, and eventually the second was found guilty as well. When the will was read of Glen Davis, it was surprising that the godson was actually not left anything in the will. So maybe Glen had an idea of what was going on from the start. Maybe he knew that his godson was just no good. Look, that's not for me to decide. What I had to show were the facts and to be able to tell the story. And that's exactly what a forensic accountant does, is he collects the information, the complex financial information, puts it together, and simplifies it to tell the story. And the numbers do tell the story. My name is David Melamed, and I am a forensic accountant and fraud investigation expert. To find out more about me and the services we offer, please visit uncoverfraud.com. Until next time, thank you and God bless.